Welcome to episode 82 for Gaming Dad 101, the show where gamers became dads and are now looking for cheat codes. That's right, we are back once again.
If you're brand new,
I know, right? For real, man. It's about damn time. So many issues this last month. We apologize, but let's go ahead. If you're brand new to Gaming Dad 101, this show is supposed to go live each and every single Wednesday as a podcast, and then Friday up as a YouTube. Now, before we even get into everything else, I did want to apologize. I picked the worst week to get sick last week, and I was out all week. There was just no helping it, and then I had family coming out of town, so I apologize. We don't like to miss weeks. Every now it happens. We'll make it up to you. We're going to come up with something. So, joining me today as usual, Ricky. What's up, man?
mi gente!
Good to see you're excited to be back, I see, man.
I'm excited, man. You know, it felt like I just took a vacation. Another vacation from the show.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel energized, man. I'm ready to tackle this again. I'm ready to hang out with everybody out there, so I'm excited. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
At least I hope.
Dude, I do. Let me tell you, it was freaking ridiculous, and I hate it. It's rare when I get as bad as I did, but when I get as bad as I did, it got bad. It got so bad that's the reason my parents came into town.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My parents came into town not necessarily because they just happened to come up or just because of the holiday. No, my dad was like, yeah, no, we talked on the phone and I was concerned. That's why I came. I was like,
wow.
Oh, well, I thank you. I love you. I'm glad you're here. You didn't realize you had to, you drove 6 hours, but it helped a lot. Like him showing up and just randomly driving 6 hours to come make sure that I'm okay based on any conversation we had on the phone. Mm-hmm. That's what being a dad's about.
I know, right?
Proving that no matter how old you are, you're still going to be doing the job. And no matter how old your kid is, you're still going to be doing the job.
That is very true. Even more now that we're grown-ups too, because they don't get to, have us right there next to them. So their concern levels are at different stages than our concern levels right now.
Exactly. And the thing is like something that's very minuscule to you. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about your kid and they're several hundred miles away, that's like an entirely different thing, And then in my case too, it's not just me that's affected, it's the grandkids and everything. So, but it was nice. I mean, as bad as I feel that my dad felt he had to come up here, I'm actually very grateful for the fact that he did. So, and you know what? We were talking about a cheat code, but that's going to be the cheat code for this week. I'm going to jump ahead to the end of it. And simply because, dude, I my dad being here helped a lot. It did. And it helped me put a lot of things into perspective. I've been under a lot of stress lately, and a lot of that has had to do with parenting. I've talked about on the show about issues I've had with JC, with the youngest one and his behavior and how, and I don't know if I brought it up on the show or not, but we were having some issues with the daycare that essentially led to him no longer being in it. But there was all this stress that I've been under for the past couple of months. There's still like a lot of stuff in the background that has been happening, and I've just been crumbling on it. So to have my dad come here and talk to him about it and experience that, like that was great. And yeah, so I highly recommend that if you're lucky enough to have a parent, a father or mother out there, go reach out to them when you feel lost and when you're dealing with all that, because it really was a refresher. Like I really needed that refresher in terms of, because my family's not here where I live. It's very hard to get that, like my parents and my mom and my brother and everybody's super far away. So
trust me, I completely understand, because my dad, even though my only blood relative that lives here in town with me is my dad, but due to his job, he's constantly traveling. So out of the whole year, I probably get to spend 3.5 months with him out of the whole entire year. So, and that's how often I get to see him. It's like a week here, 2 days there, 1 day here. So it's a combination. So sometimes seeking that guidance, from your personal parent, your guardian or your step family, whatever it is, it's always good to try to get a different perspective, try to get eyes from the outside, but not just any eyes that truly do know you, and that truly do wish you the best, not some random person from the street or anything. So, no, yes, I can definitely see how valuable that can be, especially, speaking on something that may be happening personally. So
Yeah, dude, for real. So let's go ahead and get into a better note because we've been gone for a little bit, and now we're back in here, and we're back in here. We are being all mopey and soapy. Like, what the hell is wrong with us? Jesus Christ! If anybody's still listening, hi, what's up?
Hi.
Hey, all right, man. So what's up, Ricky? What's going on? Anything good? Have you been playing anything? Have you been able to do anything? Anything at all?
0 games.
How did you get an extra week off and not play anything?
Dude, I've just been not dealing with a lot. But with my work schedule, I've had to do a lot of overtime.
A lot of covering for other people and stuff.
Covering all that fun stuff. Over the weekend,
Sorry.
I know, right? Over the weekend, I ended up getting a puppy for
Oh
my
yeah, that
daughter's
was a freaking cute
graduation.
puppy.
So going through all that this weekend, even though like the long weekend, what is it I did? I went to see Aladdin, the movie.
Ooh, how was that?
That was actually really good.
All
That
right.
was really good. Will Smith did a really good job, and the only reason why I say he did a really good job is because it brings you back to the days that he used to do Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh Lord.
Because it is not a character where he's playing a serious character. He's he's basically just playing himself, just being his goofy self.
All right.
And it's nothing serious that you can actually, grasp him from. So buy it, and I don't know. It just made the movie really good. I laughed through the movie.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually kind of upset I didn't get to do an episode for Control C for release weekend.
Oh really?
So yeah, Control C will have an episode for it. I'll let you know so you can join us for that one.
Mhm.
But dude, I wanted to, but with everything, it was just impossible, man. But I'm glad you liked it, dude. I'm looking forward to it.
I enjoyed it.
So far, I've had 2 conflicting reviews. So I've had yours, which is great, and I had another one which was terrible, but ironically enough, both of you mentioned the fact that he slept the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So it's like one of you liked it because of it, and one of you hated it because of it. And that, to me, yes, that is exactly what I received this morning from somebody else. So that is that's going to be good. All right. Well,
now we know. If you like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, then great. If you don't, then sorry.
All right. So for housekeeping, because we've been gone for a while and because the schedule has been all screwy and wonky and whatever, we wanted to remind everybody that Gamer on the Street reviews are still a thing. So if you want to submit a Gamer on the Street review for any of the games that have come out that we may not have played or something, or you want to add your 2 cents on this show and you want to talk about and tell us what you think of a certain game, reach out to us over on our Facebook group or reach out to us over on Twitter, and we will be more than happy to go ahead and talk to you about how you can be a part of the show. This week we actually have a Gamer on the Street review from one of our listener and friend of the show, Garrett Schneider, about Rage 2. So let's go ahead and take a listen over to that review.
Hey everybody, this is Garrett with Gaming Dad 101 with a Gamer of the Street review, and I wanted to give you a review on Rage 2. Everyone knows I'm a huge Borderlands fan, so I was really excited about this game when I heard about it coming out and everything like that. Picked it up, put some time into it, and the best thing I can say about this game is, it's okay. Let me start with some of the good aspects from it. So the gunplay, the guns, when you get into the action scenes, they're really good. Visually, the game is beautiful, but that's where everything ends and falls off for me. I felt like none of the NPCs had any personality, and they should have hired a good writer, or at least, something. Because it just lacked a good story. It lacked the good NPC, in Halo and Borderlands, when you're fighting people, they give you a little bit of feedback. You don't get that. And that's what makes this game kind of not as fun. Everything's really far apart, so it's kind of grindy when you have to go from one mission to the next. And you're driving from one side of the map to the next to get to the next thing. And it seems like that's all you're doing is just getting to the next thing. I think if this game was half the price that it is, I would say go get it. If you enjoyed Doom, this is kind of like an open world Doom in the aspect of the melee is fantastic. And again, when you're in the gunplay and you're doing the thing, it's a lot of fun. Beyond that, it's just okay.
All right, thank you, Garrett, for that review. My favorite part, the best that I can say about this game is that it's okay. So,
it's okay.
I mean, it's kind of a shame to hear, but I'm not gonna lie. And here's the thing: for anybody who hasn't heard Garrett on the show, he was on one of the episodes a few episodes back. I think it's been 4 or 5 episodes now, where he joined us and he talked all about Borderlands 3 coming out and the excitement and the hype for that. So I'm not surprised that he's looking at Rage and it's not necessarily meeting expectation. I think a lot of people were looking at Rage as kind of like a Borderlands light, you know what I mean, or something to kind of get them and kind of scratch that itch until Borderlands comes out. So I kind of feel that may be what he's going through. But yeah, definitely, I've heard nothing but good things about the graphics. I have heard ups and downs about the gameplay, but I have not tried it myself. Have you? I know you were looking into getting it. I don't know if you did or not.
No, I haven't gotten it yet. It is a game that I really do want to get it. And only reason why I want to get it is just because I played the first one, and I just want to. Yeah, I own the first one right now, and I just really just want to compare what it used to be to what they did. I mean, am I hoping for something big on this game? No, not really. Why? Because the first one didn't even have an ending. It really didn't. You just go kill a bunch of people and it's done. That's the game. Yay.
Okay, that was it?
Yeah. No, it's you go into a room, you kill a crap load of people, and that's it. There was no end. They really didn't create an ending for the first one. So honestly, my expectations are not, over the top or anything. I just wanted more for, like he mentioned, it's more of the mayhem of the battle scenes, just driving around just for the heck of it. I'm pretty sure I'll get tired of it, trying to go from mission to mission, driving back and forth. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm still interested in looking at it now that he mentioned about the price. I may wait a little bit.
You may wait for a sale.
But I'll eventually will try this game.
I've been curious. I'm not going to lie. And I haven't gotten it because there's no reason for me to get it if I have nobody to play with. And we all know how my schedule is when it comes to being able to play with people. Sadly, I'm not the best at it. But, it seems interesting. So, again, a reminder, Gamer on the Street reviews are always open. You guys are always welcome to send it. It's an open door policy with them. So if you have a review that you'd like to talk about, a game that you'd like to talk about and provide a review, and you want to be part of the show, that's going to be the easiest way and the quickest way for you to join us on the show. So if you guys want to, again, reach out to us over on Facebook or reach out to us over on Twitter. You can find some of the information at the bottom of the video. We're, of course, going to cover that in a little bit. All right. Now, before we continue with the show, let's go ahead and actually get to the second segment of the show, which is usually the first. Ricky, tell us, man, the reasons why we're broke.
I wonder if you thought that I wasn't ready for this moment.
Oh no, I knew you were ready.
Okay.
You see, here's the thing. I didn't see that you were ready, but I learned my lesson the last time. You know what I mean? Like I felt that in here, and I don't want to do that again. I trust you, dude. You got it. You got it. And if you don't got it, editing, make sure that you look like you got it.
That's right. It's the magic of editing. So what I'm going to actually do, I'm going to backtrack a little bit towards last week. So for those that don't really pay attention to what games are coming out, I can at least give you a heads up of what did come out.
Sweet.
So starting off last week on the 21st, we had Team Sonic Racing. So if you're a big fan of the Mario Deluxe Kart Racing, now you have the Sonic Team Racing that came out for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on May the 21st. For those fans of the AC games, you have Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, Liberty Remastered, that came out for the Switch on the 21st. We have Observation that came out for the PS4 and PC on May the 21st. We have Resident Evil that came out for the Switch on the 21st. We have Resident Evil 4 that came out for the Switch on the 21st. We have Resident Evil 0 that came out for the Switch on the 21st. Jesus,
Jeez.
Resident Evil just killed it on the Switch over the last week. We have Everybody Golf VR that came out for the PS4. I really
really need to get that game.
I was
I
gonna
just
say,
need to get VR. Period.
anybody that's played this game, please let me know how it is. I'm actually very curious to see.
Okay, so Everybody's Golf is supposed to be very fun. Now, I've heard, ironically enough, I heard a review about the VR portion of it just this morning.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it sounds like it's interesting and that you start off with 3 courses and unlock more courses as you go. But what makes it sound more interesting is that it seems that you can go on like dates with your caddies or something.
What?
It's weird in that perspective. So yeah,
Okay.
that's
Moving.
that's kind of what I said too.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'm still interested in getting more detailed review on it. Then we got finishing last week. We have Total War 3 Kingdoms that came out for the PC on May the 23rd. And then starting off this week, we have Blood and Truth that came out for the PSVR on May the 28th, which is the day that we're recording. We have Little Friends, Dogs and Cats that came out for the Switch on the 28th. We have Labyrinth Labyrinth XL Limited Edition. Don't know what the hell that game is. I can't even pronounce it.
Oh Lord!
It's coming out for the PS4 and the Switch on May the 31st. And then finishing out the week, we have Trope Save the Universe coming out for the PS4 and PS VR on the 31st.
That is a lot of reasons why we potentially would be broke.
Man, my pocket is dry. It's probably one of the reasons why I haven't played any games in the last 2 weeks.
No money for anything else. All right, I mean that's fair enough. So what I did is we revisited Guacamelee. So CC, AJ, and myself are now playing Guacamelee from the beginning.
Really?
I've never played through it. I've played it a little bit. I saw what it was about. I got the gist of it, and I kind of stopped. And I came back because I remembered that we were looking for a game for all of us to play, for the 3 of us. Okay. And we started playing Tomb Raider and the Temple of Osiris. Yeah, it wasn't bad, but AJ... I think I have that one. Do you?
I think so.
You may need to join us. Yeah, it's a PlayStation. It was a PlayStation Plus title at some point.
Yeah, I do have it.
All right, we got to check it out. See if you can join us.
Hey.
But yeah, AJ was a little scared of it, so we kind of started playing it. So we started playing Guacamelee.
Really? He's not scared of Guacamelee. Mexican.
But it's super bright and colorful. That's the thing. You got to think about it. Super bright and colorful versus like gloomy, dark, like, you know what I mean? But like, here's the thing that we've been doing. I've actually been thinking. I hesitate to say this live on air, but I'm going to. But I've actually been debating on whether we should turn on the camera and actually stream it, because so here's what we've been doing. So each time there's a character, all right, I'm gonna say this slow. I've been tricking AJ into reading more. All right.
Really?
So what we've been doing is we take turns with each character. So we have a rotation, and what happens is when a new character comes up, somebody has to read that voice. So it'll be him, and then the next character that comes up, it'll be CC, and then the next character will be me, and we do it in that order, and you stay as that character so long as you're in the same scene. If you move locations or a new character gets introduced in a different scene or whatever, you restart the rotation. So anytime somebody talks, we make up voices for them.
Nice.
The problem, and the reason why I'm debating on whether I want to do this or not is because, of course, some of them sound terribly racist. And it's mostly because my kid is trying to sound Latino. Because all I do is speak Spanish. And he's just trying to be like me. But like, they'll come up and they'll be like, my name is Guacamelee. I'm here to play and take your childhood. And they're like, I can't remember, like, I don't know what they say, but like a new character will come in like, "Yes, señor, my name is Juan Carlos, and we go to the market, man." And I've been doing like really stupid shit like that. And The three of us have just been having a lot of fun and just reading it and playing it. I think to an extent we're having more fun reading it than playing it, but it's been freaking awesome, dude.
She's excited too. Apparently, sorry.
You're good,
She's
man. I didn't even
excited.
hear. I saw your face. I was like, "What just happened?"
Sorry, I just hear my youngest one like screaming top of her lung. No,
Okay,
but
I
dude,
heard her there.
that's an awesome idea. If you're getting him to read more and all that, and not only that, but you get them accustomed to reading at whatever pace the game is actually
That's
writing out the
exactly what I'm
text.
trying to get him to improve. It's his reading level is great. The problem is that AJ has ADHD. I've said it before. He can't focus, so he gets bored very easy. So when he tests for reading, part of the problem is that he's trying to just speed up and not really read it. So what I've been making sure to do is you're reading it at the pace of the game, but you're going back and reading what it says.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't read it like it says it, I make him go back and at what? What'd you say? I can't. No, go back, and we restart it again. But it's been a lot of fun. So like we're enjoying the game from like the game perspective, and we're enjoying the game because of the stupid voices we're making.
I do want to see you guys voice acting. I really do. Now I'm curious. I gotta sneak over to your place now. One day you guys are playing it.
Do it, bro. You're welcome to come over anytime, man. All right, let's go ahead and get into the news for this week. So first off, this was a news article that came out last week, but of course, because we didn't talk about it, I had to have it this week. Microsoft and PlayStation and Sony announced a partnership for cloud gaming. Like, what
Oh yeah.
the freaking hell, man?
They were gonna share some kind of technology.
Check it out. I have quotes here from the article over on IGN. Sony and Microsoft have announced a, quote, joint development of future cloud solutions in Microsoft Azure to support their respective game and content streaming services. The partnership will explore collaboration in the areas of semiconductors and AI. Negotiations with Microsoft began last year and were handled directly by Sony senior management in Tokyo. And here's the part that's even crazier. They did all this without even telling PlayStation. So everybody at PlayStation was freaking out. Apparently there were internal emails that had to go out to explain to people that, no, you're still good, your job is safe, and all this ridiculous commotion. Here's the best part. There's a quote from Bloomberg that kind of like made me like realize, like, dude, when you put it in those perspectives, I totally see why they did this. Faster internet speeds are starting to allow games to be played remotely without the need for a local machine, which is a threat to PlayStation, which generates a third of Sony's profits, and Microsoft's Xbox also has the similar risk. Now, Microsoft with Xbox is only 10% of Microsoft. Small chump change, which is ridiculous when you take into consideration how serious they take all this, that it's just 10% of their business, but look at everything they do with Xbox. Mm-hmm. Sony has a much bigger investment in it, so clearly they're going to partner up. Now, could this be the end of console generations? PlayStation and Sony are teaming up. At this point, I think there's a better chance of, of an X station than there is a Switch box. Like... Are we just going to see them disappear? Is it all going to turn into one convoluted, portable thing?
See, just for the heck of it, just because I don't want to agree with you.
Or is Switch going to take over everything and Xbox and PlayStation just become streaming services?
Nah, they're going to
just to beat you at the crazy ideas.
Xbox is just going to partner up just for cloud streaming services with PlayStation, and just because they want to still have a console or at least a handheld, they're going to partner up with the Nintendo, and they're going to come out with the Nintendo Switch Xbox, system. So we're going to get the best of both worlds. Xbox is going to take over the world. X-Station. We're going to have Genesis team up as well, eventually. Like, you know what?
Genesis, seriously? Yes. Oh, God. Let's just get Atari in there. Might as well. Let's just
get everybody. Let's get everybody.
Bring everybody.
Nah, what do I think?
How we have any viewers is beyond me sometimes.
Do I think that is going to be the end of consoles? I mean, we've had pretty much.
Well, no, there's more to that than just this.
No, of course.
Question one: do you think this is the end of it?
No.
Or that we're heading toward the end within X amount of years? And then question number two: what do you think this means for the partnership between PlayStation and Xbox? Because all of this time they've been competing, but because they're working together on something that involves directly and refers directly to gaming, it's going to 1,000% affect Xbox and PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
And part of the reason, like I said, there was the whole dramatic or upveil and upheaval was that they're working on PlayStation 5, and here you are announcing something that the PlayStation 5 team had no clue about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's one of those, like, I understand the secrecy, but like that's kind of why I wanted to see what you thought.
No, yeah, I don't. Do I think they're gonna have a end of consoles? Not 100%. Will we see as many updates to the consoles? Probably not. You know, we are probably gonna start slowing down because I mean we're already getting to the stage where gaming technology, or for console technology, better said, is starting to pretty much catch up to a computer-based technology. For the most part, no, you know, granted, they're not as strong and powerful as a PC. You know, some people might differ. That's a whole different argument.
But
But
at
for
the
the
same
most
time, they're
part,
getting close.
they are getting close. You know, they're not there, but they are getting close. You know, we already have so much visual effects that you can promote into a console. You know, once we start getting into 60 FPS, you know, on the system, which some games, not every game, let's just get this right, some games can probably do it, but it's not a stable system at
True.
that point. So there will be some kind of upgrades, but I don't probably see us getting many different consoles like we have in the past before.
You think
Where
so?
we,
So you think they're going to cut down on that?
yes, I think we're gonna start getting a cut down on how many versions of a system we're gonna get.
You want to know what I wish they would actually do? I wish that eventually, and I know that it's not going to happen with the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox 2 or whatever they call it. It would be nice if at some point it would just be just the Xbox, just the PlayStation, and it becomes a modular box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you grab and sure, you're going to have this computer for the foreseeable future, but you can up the graphics card with any iteration. You know what I mean? And like instead of coming out with a PlayStation 5, they'll come out with like the PlayStation graphics processor 2 or some shit, and then you just put that into your system. You know what I mean? Like something along those lines. I think would be interesting.
But at that point, it's an actual legit computer. PC.
I know that's my point. But that's when you think about it, that's the natural evolution of this.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I've never liked gaming on PC, and the reason I never liked gaming on PC is because I didn't like mouse and keyboard. But even gaming on PC is now adaptive to pads and stuff of that nature and controllers. So eventually, that's where we're all headed. So is Xbox and PlayStation going to disappear, or are they going to come back harder into the gaming space as gaming PCs?
I would like to see it as gaming PCs. Now, realistically, if we start getting into a gaming PC era, then I definitely foresee the prices of those specific boxes, you know, those towers.
12, 13, 15,
being
16.
a lot more. Especially if you want to start trying to get into...
And that's the beautiful part of the console versus the PC.
Correct. But that's when they can make different tiers. That's when you can start getting into, let's do like the Xbox One S version of a PC, and then let's do the Xbox One X version of the PC.
And that's why I think modular would be awesome, because you can upgrade as you go and then kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it would be a nicer way to upgrade, and I know that this just kind of sounds like I should just switch to PC, but I do play on PC, just not as much as my console. Get off my back.
Hey, speaking from a person that at this moment has all console systems for this generation, I play my PlayStation and Xbox a lot more than I do the Switch and my PC.
Speaking of somebody who's only missing the Xbox, I play all of them about the same. No, I play PC the least. I play my PlayStation and my Switch get a pretty good amount of use. You know what I mean? I'm either using one or the other all the time.
Mood. I guess for me, it's more on what kind of mood am I in right now. So
I had to check if my Switch was behind me for a second. I didn't. I got a new game that I'm very interested about. I've had okay, so like I got all these credits for the PlayStation, the Nintendo store, and I don't know what to buy with it. The other day I bought a game that I bought a game called well, actually I forgot what the name is. I think it's called Whiteout or something like that. But essentially,
Wipeout.
no, I've wanted this game since it got announced.
Okay.
And it's one of those cases where I forgot all about it. I was playing Cuphead, and it's called White Knight. It's a very interesting game, and it's everything is played like in a silhouette. I'm gonna send you the trailer so you can check it out, Ricky. Anybody who hasn't seen it, definitely go check it out because it looks like an interesting game. That's probably what I want to play after the episode, just because it's in my head now. Let's go ahead and move into the next article, man. I'm getting off track here way too much. Sorry. Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced the launch of PlayStation Productions, a production studio that will take Sony's catalog of video game titles and franchises and adapt them for film and television, as reported on IGN. What do you think of this? So PlayStation is going to start making other media. As a matter of fact, here, I do have a quote. Instead of licensing our IP out to studios, we felt the better approach was for us to develop and produce ourselves. One, because they're more familiar, but also because we know what the PlayStation community loves. And this is, of course, a quote between, and I'm going to butcher this name, Kisselbash, and then, of course, Sean Layden as well. They were quoted as saying that. And then the other quote that I have is, we looked at what Marvel has done in taking the world of comic books and making it into the biggest thing in the film world. Mm-hmm. So they're looking at the inspiration from Marvel, and they think that they can start building their own universes.
I mean, they're going to have Sony back them up because obviously PlayStation, it's owned by Sony. Sony already has a Sony Media production. So I can kind of see, okay, I will say
it's going to be easy for them.
I can kind of see it because the good thing about it is they're going to be able, just like on the article says, they're very familiar with the product that they're basing whatever movie they want to make on. Yep. You know, they're gonna be able to at least, you know, stay more true to the game and not deviate as much as any other movie creator or production movie production out there would do. Because that's the current issue that we do have with a lot of this movie or game to movies. At this time, for this, you know, for the past couple of generations, is they try to make their own version of what the game is, and a lot of the times they end up butchering the damn movie, and it just comes out terrible.
And that's always the concern. But because everything is internal, I think they may actually have a better shot,
and they have more control.
But the question is, what would they bring? What would make a compelling story? Because, for example, I've always wanted an Uncharted story. I think Uncharted would lend itself very well to film, as long as they don't do anything from the games. Tie it to the game in one way or shape or form if you'd like, but let it be its own thing. You know what I mean? Like, reference something that happened in the game. Oh, I remember where Chloe did this, or something of that nature. Sure, but do your own story. And I think that's going to be what's key. A God of War series would be interesting. You know what I mean? Something along the Metal Gear. Dude, Metal Gear. I've always wanted Metal Gear.
A true Halo movie.
That's Xbox.
That's Xbox, never mind. Yeah. I mean, you have... Jesus, my daughter is just happy today.
Yeah, I know, bro, right?
I mean, there's... I'm trying to think now of the different kind of games that came out, and I go blank every single time I'm put like in the spot to try to think what to make.
And it's got to be like PlayStation first party titles is what it's got to be. So
they can probably make, a Spyro movie. Yes, I know they have the Skylanders, but it's not the same one. Try to make it based on the actual book. I mean, on the actual game than what they try to make it in the past. Try to make, I don't know. Jesus, I'm like put on the spot now.
I know, right? But
so many games.
Do you think it's a good idea? Because the thing is, video game movies have never been great. There's always they always look promising, and then they always disappoint. Are they going to be the first studio to actually do it right?
I hope. I mean, that's what happened with Marvel. Then Disney or Marvel Studios actually had to,
Yeah, they
take
worked with their
reign
own.
back,
Yeah,
and they did a couple movies where it wasn't, they weren't their big money makers, but eventually they became the big money maker movies.
yeah.
It took them a while. I mean, they made, what is it, 3 to 4 movies, and those movies weren't as budget or not as profitable as they wanted them to be.
You mean the ones we don't talk about, like the Incredible Hulk and the other Hulk? Yeah.
No, well, those were not made by Marvel, I believe.
No, the second one was, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, there was one of them was. The other one was done by Universal, I think.
Okay, so
Don't
that's
quote me
what.
on that one, but yeah.
No, yeah. Because I know that their very first movie that they made was Blade. That was the first Marvel movie they ever made.
Oh,
Yes, if you
I was
really
not
think.
aware that that was the first one under Marvel
Yes,
Studios brand.
that was the very first. I was actually looking at a documentary about it not too long ago, and they were talking about the history of Marvel and how they started
Interesting.
everything was the first movie they decided to create and make, from the comic books to a live action movie was Blade. And then
All
slowly
right.
they made other movies which fell through. They weren't as big until the Avenger movies, and Captain America and all that. Those movies were the ones that brought it up, but they were
Hmm.
giving a shout out to what truly brought their studios to life and how they built
Fair.
from the very beginning, from rag to riches kind of stories. Basically, what I was looking into. I gotta see if I see the video again, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please
But yeah,
do, man, because that sounds interesting as hell.
no, I wouldn't mind having Sony, or PlayStation make their own movie studios and try to hone into all those.
Mhm.
I can pretty much see them having the control of making a really rich story, working with the writers, probably even working with their own production team of who writes the stories for the games, and just make it that much more, rich of a story. But no, I'm into it.
Let's see
I'm
it.
all for it.
Let's see it. Apparently, they're already working on the first latest things. So look forward, fingers crossed. Let's hope it's really good. All right, let's go ahead and I'm gonna switch up the order of the news a little bit, Ricky, so in case you're not following. So
I'm
there's
not.
rumors that Witcher. What happened?
Well, I'm not.
Oh, fair enough. Witcher 3 rumors are back. Apparently, there's an edition called Game of the Year edition that apparently may be coming out for the Nintendo Switch. That's the rumor.
Okay.
It's a pretty heavy rumor, but we're finally in that stage where E3 is around the corner. We're going to start hearing a lot of rumors and a lot of stuff that's both not true and a lot of stuff
Walmart.
that is true and a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that you don't know. And Walmart Canada, we're looking at you.
That's
We're
right.
waiting to see what you spill. So. And then the other update that I have is apparently Nintendo Treehouse representative confirmed that for Super Mario Maker 2, you can only do online multiplayer with random people. Apparently, whether you're doing it as a co-op or competitive play, you can only do random people. And their statement says that apparently, with the global leaderboards, the matchmaking for competitive play would be compromised if you could play with friends, and that limitation also extends to co-op, which makes zero sense to
No.
me whatsoever. I really hope that Nintendo changes their mind because it's very tone deaf this day and age
Yep.
where you can't play multiplayer with other people. How, like, I understand Nintendo's new to the online community and how things are done online, but
Hmm.
we've been separating competitive play and ranked matches from unranked matches for years now.
Yep.
So how can Nintendo not sort this out?
Again, like you said, they're new to the game. I don't think they've partnered up with companies that have gone through it or partnered up with developers that
To
have
have more
made
experience with it?
exactly. So they're probably more in the newer. So it's something that they're gonna have their rust patches. Just like the Nintendo Pass. I forget what they're called. The Nintendo Online thing. It
What do you
started
mean?
pretty rough.
Oh, the Nintendo
Yeah,
Online service?
yeah, the online
Yeah.
services. It started off pretty rough, and over time it has gotten better. We're now able to do cloud saving. Yes, I know it's only for specific games that you're not able to, which still doesn't make sense. But at least they're trying. At least they're trying to make something out of nothing. Well, not out of
I
nothing.
just want them to catch up with the rest of everybody.
I mean, it's not who always makes it first; it's who makes it better.
Touche. But on that note, they still haven't made it better.
No. I'm trying to bat for them. I'm trying to give them a little help here, but
I see that.
It ain't working.
All right. So then let's move to the last bit of news for this week, and we're gonna go to it because it's another console announcement. Have you seen it yet?
No.
You haven't seen it yet?
No,
all right. You need to pull this up. You need to pull this up, all right? So, Panic, the people that brought you Firewatch have announced a new handheld system called the Playdate. It's a cute little GameCube-looking type thing that's really tiny.
Yes.
And it has a crank on the side.
Yes, I saw that. I was just like, what? So, I'm assuming that this is going to be like those flashlights that you just jiggle up and down, for friction. No?
Nope. The crank has nothing to do with powering the device. The crank is actually going to be a way to play the game. So check this out. The Playdate is going to be games. It's coming out with a season of 12 surprise games, okay?
Okay.
So here's the part that I'm like kind of about. First of all, the display's in black and white, okay? There's no backlight to it. It's old school digital black and white.
Okay.
The crank in one of the games that they show, I can't remember the name. I'll have to look it up. What?
Game Boy Wanna Be okay?
Yeah, pretty much. The crank in one of the games that they showed controls the motion of time forward and backwards. All right?
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then apparently that's like the first game that's coming with it. There are going to be 12 more games that are going to be delivered over 12 weeks, but they're all surprises. You don't know what they are going to be. So, like, that's, like, the interesting thing about it. It's a very weird niche system, and I kind of wanted it really badly until you look at the price. Take a guess, Ricky.
$150?
$150, Ricky.
Jesus Christ.
Dude,
the only reason why I went there with that price is just because the last mini console... Really, honestly, my mind, the way that you're kind of describing this thing, and my mind just kind of went to, like, the Game Boy Classic. Or the Game Boy Mini.
It kind of looks like a Game Boy Classic Mini with a crank on the side. It's weird.
That's really what my mind started going into.
It's weird, and it's cute, and I want it, but not for that price. And here's the problem. It's only going to be offered in very limited quantity, so I think it's going to be one of those where you like pre-ordered and that's it. Gotcha. So for a fact.
They're trying to make it into a collectible item to try to bring up the value of it. So.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, so but yeah, dude, it looks awesome. All right, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's called the Playdate. You know what? Let me see if I can.
No, I've seen the image.
Right there. For anybody watching the YouTube video, that's what it looks like. Check it out. That's pretty freaking nifty. If anybody over at Panic wants to send me one to take a look at it and review it here on the show, I'd be more than happy to do so. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Share the video, guys.
I know, right? Share the video, guys. Tag Panic. Everybody do it. Oh, man. So that pretty much does it for the news for this week, man. Is anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you'd like to share before we get to the final piece? I know I did this a little bit weird out of order, but being gone for a week completely threw away my my timing for which segment goes next.
I know, right?
Anything you'd like to recommend before we go ahead and get into the cheat code of the week?
Recommend peace and quiet. If you're able to, if you have a family member and you want to send your kids with that family member now that we have summer, hey, don't think about it twice. If your family member wants to take that, not a burden, but they want to take that challenge and keep your kids over the summer, hey, let's do it. I need a vacation.
I feel like, you're just trying to dump your kids. Fair enough. And if anybody wants to babysit Ricky's kids, let us know. I'm assuming it's a paid gig.
And that's
you'll be paid an experience.
That's why I said, yeah. That's why I said family members.
Fair enough.
Hey, I used to go to Puerto Rico every summer when I was younger. My dad used to ship me over to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, used to go to Puerto Rico, and I used to be shipped to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So, I don't mind.
That works out. All right, let's go ahead and let's get to the cheat code of the day. If you're brand new to Gaming Dad 101, the cheat code of the day is a cheat code that we provide with you pretty much every week. And it's just things that we've learned as we've gone along our journey as dads who happen to play games. And we call it a cheat code because, well, we like cheat codes. That's why. See how that goes together? Mm-hmm. So for this week, going back to the beginning of this episode, you're a dad from day one to the end of time. And sometimes you, as a parent yourself, forget that your parents went through this. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it was very refreshing and it was very humbling to talk to my dad and go over all the crap that's been stressing me and learn about things that he went through. And then, like, the interesting thing, and nobody knows this about my dad, but my dad grew up without a father. He didn't even know his dad until he was 16. So he was never really close with him, and through growing up and raising us, he never really talked to his father. So he basically did this whole parenting thing without having any sort of dad role model. Like, he had my grandmother, who of course played both roles as best as she could, but you know what I mean? It's a different type of ordeal. So to have listened to some of these stories and kind of hear how he dealt with something, and I'm here feeling like I'm breaking down over certain things that I'm going through as a parent. And I'm here telling my dad, and he's like, dude, you have no idea. So, like, check this out. Dude, I learned that when I was born, first of all, I was born on a Friday. And I was born on a Friday that was actually a holiday. So that means the banks were closed on the day I was born. That means the banks were closed on Saturday. That means the banks were closed on Sunday. And of course, you're in the hospital for about 3 days when you give birth, so you get out on Monday. So my dad had no way to get money to pay for me when I was born. And the thing is that back then in 1984, unfortunately, they would not let you take your child home until you paid the bill in full. It wasn't none of this, we'll send you the bill and you pay it over a few months and like figure it out and send it to collections if need to. No, none of that crap. It's you want your child, you pay the bill. So my dad was scrambling the entire weekend to try to find money and scrape money together to finish paying the bill because apparently
finish paying you off.
The money, yes, finish paying me off. The money that they had set aside for me, they had to lend it to my like grandfather or grandmother out of an emergency. And I just happened to like, boom, here I am. So like listening to stories like that and going over through with my dad was really re-energizing. So anybody that's out there, like I kind of wanted to put it out there because we go through things that drain us and, you know, we're not the only ones who go through it. And hopefully talking to somebody who may have gone something similar may help. So I know that it did for me, so I felt like putting it out there for everybody else. So that's my cheat code for the week.
There we go, man. I mean, I love the story. It's a really good story, and it's a really good cheat code because you do forget, you know, that your parents have the experience, you know. You are not there by yourself. Yes, you may be physically in town by yourself, but you at least have a backup system to somebody that you can call and ask for advice.
How overwhelming is parenting sometimes?
Oh,
like, let's be real for a second here. How overwhelming is it? How many times that you feel like you're a complete failure as a parent? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That sort of stuff is debilitating.
Trust me, I'm over here. I'm not going to go into financial details, but for example, I try to delay this as much as possible. But like I've mentioned, I have two girls. I'm now to the point where I now need to put the second one in daycare. And daycare nowadays is not cheap. It's not cheap whatsoever. That's a whole different mortgage.
Ricky, let's just find a babysitter to take care of both of our kids and we'll split it halfsies, man.
Let's do. I mean, we need to start some kind of a business or something, to be honest.
I know, right? Gaming Dad 101 babysitting edition.
Ooh, I like this. Have all the crying babies in the background.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That would be so bad.
Oh, what was that movie called? Daddy Daycare. Our own version of daddy daycare. Let's
So
do
yeah,
it.
it's just one of those where it becomes overwhelming, and it really helped because, like you
No.
said, sometimes we're stressing because we don't have the answer and we can't come up with the answer. And realistically, they went through it and they had an answer. It may not be the right one, but it gives you an idea to what something did and how it worked out, and then you can make an informed decision. And it's better than making decisions based on nothing, you know?
No, and one thing too is sometimes you might stress over some kind of an issue, some kind of a matter, and there's times, I mean, it's happened to me where I've stressed over something so bad that I kind of start breaking down to my dad, and then my dad just tells me, "Oh, well, what about this?" And it's just like the
The
simplest
simplest
freaking
solution.
that I didn't even think about, just because I'm in the middle of being all stressed out and everything.
Yep.
I'm not able to think outside the box. And again, that's why our parents are there. They're seeing everything from the outside in. You know, they are going to be able to have sometimes those answers of thinking outside the box of something that, because you're in the moment.
Well, and that's the
And
thing. Here's the thing. I think the misconception is also in how you said it. They're thinking outside of the box. I don't think it's necessarily thinking outside of the box. Is that it's not outside for them because they went through it already and already did it. It's outside of the box for us because we did not see it coming.
true.
You know.
But yeah.
But yeah, that's the advantage, man. It was humbling as hell, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
It
glad.
was. I mean,
I'm really
for the
honestly,
good,
I'm
for the
truly
good and
glad
for the bad.
everything is working out for you, man.
Yeah, for the good and for the bad, it was a good experience. So, all right, man. Well, let's go ahead and sign off for this week. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on this welcome back episode. Again, we're gonna do something for E3, but we don't know yet what. We'll announce exactly when that will happen soon. The heck was that?
It
All
was
right.
like a little butterfly.
Oh yay!
Landed on Chris' forehead. He looked so party.
Oh, thank you. So, thank you. You know what? I'm just going to cut it out. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Gaming Tech 101. Remember that we go live hopefully every Wednesday as a podcast and every Friday as a YouTube episode. Thank you very much for joining us for this week. Remember that you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at ViscZen, which should be under my name. You can follow Ricky at Picky Gamer Dad. It should be under his face. If you're watching the YouTube episode, you can check us out over at GeekEnd Cast on Twitter and on the website at geekendcast.com and search for GeekEnd Cast Control C, Gaming Dad, all of it. We're all everywhere. So thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Ricky, thank you as always for being my co-pilot. And we'll see you guys next week.
Luego.